Imagine looking for money and knowing where to go to. Life is good.
There are two things. You either design your sales playbook yourself or you get a sales expert to do it for you.
You shouldn't just start a brand and try to build a community when you don't even know the true picture of your audience.
Content and product marketing. Do you sleep well at night? Because your boss will be on your phone like, yo. Well, how do I evaluate a good partner?
Well, you look at things like brand equity.
Why would they buy your product?
Everything that happens after a customer exchanges money for your service or product is a lot more important than everything that even happened prior.
And the already existing users are the ones who can actually grow your brand in like unexplainable ways.
Your sales playbook in general is that Bible.
The right channel for you are where your customers are.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
You have launched now, the business is up and doing. What activities do I need to do in terms of partnership? What activities do I need to do to strengthen my partnership or even grow to more partners?
Hi, ladies. Thank you for coming. So before we get into the conversation, I'll give context on why this episode is important and why everybody should watch this episode. 8 years ago, I got my first gig in Mandu, assistant business manager for one of the cinema chain
In the country, and I grew to managing for then taking my career global. But one of the things I struggle with is having resource to reference, especially with the African market. It's tough because we read most of the foreign books, but the market is different. A US author telling me how to do business in the US, it's not applicable in the African context because one, the spending power is different. The average, if you look at their GDP too, the average state in the US GDP is higher than all of Africa put together. Even California GDP is higher than all of Africa put together. So we need to have a conversation like this that people can use as reference, especially if they are just coming to the early stage of their career or they are building a business. So I don't want to botch the introduction. So I'll let you guys.
You're going deep.
So I'll let you guys do the introduction from yourself and tell us why are your roles important to businesses and also professionals that are watching the episode. So you go first.
Okay. Me, right?
Yeah.
My name is Gertrude Umeh, and I lead sales operations at Cabal Media, what most of you may know as Cabal and Zikoko. My role is pivotal to a business because we take all the conversations that we garner from interests and turn it into revenue. So what I do is I build sales playbooks that scale the teams and give us money.
Okay. My name is Arku. I am a marketing associate and I basically work in the intersection of product and content marketing for an identity verification company called Smile ID. And why my work is important because I basically market our services to the public to make sure that, people are buying from us. So without us, there's no revenue. We also work with I work in the intersection between marketing, customer success, sales, and also products as well to make sure that, people can buy from us. So I'll say that's essentially why, our product, my work is important. But yeah, we'll talk more about it. Yeah.
Okay, so hi everyone, my name is Eniola Olushola and I'm a corporate partnerships manager at West Africa's fastest growing fitness chain. And what I do is that I find the connection between fitness and anything. So, and what makes it exciting is because you can relate fitness to almost anything. So that's basically what I do. I find the connection between fitness and anything. And the reason why I think it's very important is because fitness has to become a part of our lifestyle and we have to integrate it into every aspect of our life. So I think that's why what I do is very important.
Yeah, so I'll start with you because I'm always at the gym 6 times a week.
Okay.
I'm always at the gym. I feel it gives me clarity.
Yes.
Yeah, it hypes me up to have a good day. So we're advocating for you to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
When you say corporate partnerships, what does it entail?
So it entails collaborations with all kinds of brands. It could be, like I mentioned, anything. So it could be adverts, putting ads on screens within our spaces. It could be selling within our spaces. It could be doing activations. It could be a campaign, a social media campaign. It could be co-creating events as well. So yeah, that's
nice.
basically
Nice. Gertrude, you spoke about sales playbook. So can you walk us the process of designing a sales playbook for a young entrepreneur just starting out and want to get their first sales?
So there are two things. You either design your sales playbook yourself or you get a sales expert to do it for you. But what your sales playbook will do for any organization and your sales team is like a Bible. It gives them a process of how they should go to market, how they should identify their ideal customer profiles, how they should build different segmentations of these profiles that explore their products or the services that they render. It gives you a sense of outreach. So there's what we call sequences where you can reach out to your clients based on this sequence that has been mapped out for you. You know that the first touch should be maybe an email, the second should be a call, and it guides them, it helps them to follow through. Your sales playbook also sits your tech stack for that sales team.
Hello, I know you liked this video and you want more. Let me personally invite you to something bigger. The Great Conversation Network is hosting a 3-day marketing masterclass covering brand storytelling, marketing automation, communication frameworks, and even YouTube strategies. Awesome, right? You also get access to our community and 6 bonus webinars next year, plus the exact tools and frameworks we use. Click the link below to register today. Seats are limited and I'd love to see you there.
What's the tech stack?
Your tech stack has to do with your CRM, which is your customer relationship management tool, your prospecting tool, which is also a data enrichment tool that allows you to scrub for the right data. Then there's also the outreach tool, and then there are tools that allows you to get the right data of how your sales team is performing. So your sales playbook in general is that Bible that anybody that is a part of the organization can pick up, take a look at it, and they have a sense of how to sell the product or services that business renders. So it talks about the product in itself, talks about who the product is for, the solution it's the problem it's solving, right? And then talks about the different stages of the sales process and how they take the customers through that journey from first getting them to know about the product to when they become raving fans of the product.
So we'll dive more into it when we try to introduce case studies and try to dissect it. But let me go to Gift. Content and product marketing. Do you sleep well at night? Because your boss will be on your phone like, yo, those sales, create that video.
Okay, so you touched on something very important because product marketing and also like content. So I work for a B2B SaaS company. So we basically also have like a sales team that we work with.
Yeah.
And they also think about like, how we are she's brilliant, like Gertrude has brilliantly said about like, seeing who our target customers are and also like, selling to them. So product marketing is basically like, a set of like, strategies to make sure that your product is aware, people are aware of your products,
yeah.
and then also repeatable buyers. So you don't just want people to just see your product and just like download your product, but you want it to be part of like what they think about like your ecosystem. You want people to dream about your products and you want it to be part of like their daily life. And also content marketing is like an intersection of that as well, in terms of it's also very strategic in terms of like you are creating and also distributing valuable content to the set of like audiences that has already been like predetermined by the product marketing team, like the sales team. Like this is our ideal customer profile, and then I'm creating very valuable content for them to be able to be fans of our products, to be also loyal customers, but to also be fans of our products and to obviously like lead to like profitable sales. So basically
that makes sense. I wanted to add something to what she just said. So being able to create content and when it comes to content marketing has such a pivotal role to play in sales, because all of that creates awareness, like she mentioned. And then with what the marketing team would like to call a CTA, a call to action, it gets sales going.
Yeah.
So if it's just awareness, it's just entertaining people. But with this with the right CTA, with content marketing, it then gets us, marketing qualified leads. What they call
MQs.
MQL, yes.
Yeah, MQs.
What's MQL?
SQs.
Marketing qualified leads.
Remember, I'm between 5 years and you know how to build the business. So you guys will help me build the business today. So I went to the next Titan, and a friend of mine won the first position, Kel
Nice.
Lubani, 40 million naira.
Nice.
Was she?
Better bread, 40 million naira. So
Be a friend.
it gives her an opportunity
Correct.
to start her business. But when I was looking at the business pitch, you could know that she also needs so much help in terms of doing the business. So we use the business as case study today.
Okay.
So you
Awesome.
guys are going to walk me through how we're going to build our business in terms of your different roles.
That's not what you told us.
Wow. No, we're just
That sounds fun.
That's not what you said when
no,
we came
we
here.
use it as a case study.
Okay,
Feel free.
let's
So
try.
she does. It's a cosmetic brand.
Mm,
They supply B2B and B2C. It's a mass market brand.
mm.
So it's their first product. Let's have a product, a lip balm that she sells. So for Olushola, how does she build corporate partnership with that kind of product?
Well, I need to understand what type of lip balm it is. Like, what's its unique selling proposition? What makes it stand out from others? Are you positioning it as the healthiest, or the glossiest, or the moistest? I don't know. But then
She says it sticks, that it doesn't go off.
It doesn't go off. Okay, so this is something that would be good for not just women, but for women and men as well.
Okay.
So the kind of partners you're looking at is makeup artists, obviously. You give them your products, let them use it, test run it. When people start to use it and they like it, they'll buy. So it could be something that anytime she's having a makeup session, she can call. Oh no, for bridesmaids, when she's having a makeup session for bridesmaids, they'll call your lip balm partner and they could come educate everybody about it, give them free samples, create content from it, and then use that to drive awareness for the brand and also sell.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
So yeah, you can now do that. I mean, since you already know you have a large audience of brides and bridesmaids and bride parties, you could start doing things like that. Then you could also partner with wedding expos,
Events.
beauty events, beauty expos, like this beauty in West Africa that just happened.
Gratitude.
Exactly. Anything that
beauty
basically anywhere that there are females and there are men, but mostly females, you'd want to target females, because I
I
don't see that men are very aware of how moist their lips are.
But
So,
how
yeah,
do I
that's
know
what I
this
was-
is a good partner for me? Well, how do I evaluate a good partner?
Well, you look at things like brand equity.
Okay.
You also want to look at things like
What's brand equity?
that's basically a brand's currency. And that is built over years of competence. Not just competence, it also depends on the type of brand. If it's a luxury brand,
Yeah.
and that luxury brand has been in existence for like 50 years, the brand equity is going to be very high. So if you now have a new brand that is not even luxury, it's just a regular brand, that brand's equity is going to be low. So you now need to collaborate with brands that have a higher equity than yours to give you a leg up. And in cases like that, you can't ask too much of a brand that has more equity than you. So you should be willing to,
Value.
so you should be able to let go of certain things
Trade
to ensure that partnership goes well.
Oh, nice. In terms of sales, how do we bring sales in?
First of all, she has to ensure that she creates the right awareness that means the business should have a good marketing team. And if she wants to go lean, I'm not saying she should employ like a shit ton of people, pardon my French, but she should
Don't worry, it's on YouTube. So
okay. So she should employ marketing experts to help with the right content. She should leverage heavy on content, right? And the right platform. So you're thinking TikTok, you're thinking Instagram, right? I don't know about Facebook, but yes, TikTok, Instagram comes to mind when it comes to a product like this. And off that, you can then get some sales in. And of course, she has to be strategic about partnership, like she has said. She needs to leverage on partnership strongly. but I will revert back to content because I see a product that has done amazingly well with that. And I would like to give them a shout out, but I don't know them. She's wearing their wig right now.
Lush.
No, Regal. As soon as she came in, I was like, is that Regal?
Oh.
I've never bought a Regal product, but their content right now has been blowing
What kind
up.
of content do they create?
So they do very,
UGC.
what did you call it?
User generated.
Oh,
Yeah.
and it is very scroll stopping. You see a lady, she would sit in a marketplace, has her table set up, gets her mirror, she's wearing her makeup and she's trying to, fix the wig. And people are like looking like what's going on here. I also saw one, she was on a train trying to get dressed. Like you want to think about content that way. And it has generated a lot of awareness and conversion for them. So for a brand like this, yes, you need to decide on how you want to position your lip gloss. Why is it so different from what other people have in the market? Two, you then want to start to explore partnerships, like she said. But I am heavy on content, not just any content, but content that drives an action with, the right CTA.
Using your sales playbook, how do we implement it in a business like this? Or design a sales playbook that she can implement. Just walk her through the process.
So she has to, first of all, her sales playbook has to talk about what the product is and the unique selling points, and then identify who is your target audience. I would rather she doesn't just assume that, okay, my lip balm is for everybody, both male and female. Even with the female, you need to be able to still specify
between what age?
Yeah, what age? Am I going to appeal to the Gen Z audience a lot more? Your sales playbook should be able to speak to that. Identify who your ideal customers are from the age of, say, 18 to 25 or 18 to 30. Once you're clear on that, where can I find them? Where are they? Your sales playbook should be able to talk about it in that way and form. Then you want to talk about how am I going to reach out to them? What platforms am I going to be exploring to reach out to these people? Are they on Instagram? Are they on LinkedIn? Am I reaching out to them via calls or via emails? Or am I going to knock? Do people still do that? Where you knock door to door.
Yeah.
Well, some people still hit the brake when it comes to sales, but we know that a lot of it now is virtual. Do I need a website? What tools am I going to use to take the traffic that comes from my website down to my CRM? Your CRM, like I said, is your customer relationship management tool. And that way you can then, have a sales team that pick up the conversation and making sure that nothing is dropping out of the funnel. You also, in your sales playbook, want to map out the different stages of your pipeline, the different stages of your sales process. While with a lot of organizations, the sales process might be the same, but based on your own organization and what you sell, you want to then take that and make it unique to how your typical sales process would flow. And the only way to do that is by actually selling consistently. So she needs to have sold enough and document the stages of how she was able to achieve a sale. Enough to now say, this is the different process of the process that my product goes through, or this is the process that my prospect goes through before they become a customer. Because a prospect is different from a customer. A prospect is someone that might be able to afford your product, right? And then up until they eventually pay money and then they become a customer.
Nice.
So your sales playbook should be able to speak to every single bit of that, the tools that you use, to achieve that sale, even the post-sale product, the post-sale process, I beg your pardon, that should be documented in your sales playbook. So if you're building out your sales playbook as a founder that she is, or as an entrepreneur, there's what they call founder-led sales.
Okay.
So as an entrepreneur that she is, she most likely would have to build that herself based on her own experience of driving the product first.
Okay.
Then, as she employs more people to do sales, it's easy for them to look at the sales playbook that she has worked on. It's nothing extraordinary. It's literally just you documenting every single process that your customers, or prospects rather, go through before they eventually become customers.
When you say documenting the process, a lot of people will be like, what's the process? It's not to go and message somebody and just say, hi, I have a product. Come buy from me. Like I keep saying, I do this pod like I'm a child.
Yeah.
So, or 23 years old, 25 years old, so the people get value. So, what's a perfect sales process for you?
So, documenting the process is honestly not extraordinary. It's like I said earlier. So, you want to say, today I reached out to this person and I spoke about my product because, of course, I know this person is qualified. Oh, that reminds me. There is also what they call qualifying metrics to be able to qualify if someone is your ideal customer or not. There are different qualifying metrics to that.
Want to walk us through it?
So there is what they call bands. There is what they call medic. Medic is usually for like bigger organizations. Bands is for smaller organizations, and I'm sure you can actually Google it and it will give you more details. But for the sake of this conversation, once you qualify your prospects and you know that that person can actually afford your products, you then say, okay, today I reach out to this person today, and then I know that in the next 2 days I reached out again, and maybe in the next 3 days they eventually bought, or in the next 1 week. Just being able to document the different stages that you took your prospects through before they eventually become a customer. That in itself is important to be documented in your sales playbook for every other person coming after you to implement or duplicate. And of course, it doesn't stay static. As the business scales, you can also tweak that. Yes, to reflect to whatever stage the business of growth the business is in.
Oh, nice. So content and product marketing, I feel like it will become such a thing going into the future. And I will explain. TikTok Shop is yet to even come into the country.
Yeah.
That could see another big boom in terms of e-commerce.
Yeah.
YouTube Shop is there, but people don't like going to YouTube because it's a lot of work. So how does, in terms of that kind of a business, how do you integrate the content and the product marketing together?
Okay. So let me start with products, because obviously I always say that a bit of like subset of products is also content marketing. There's this framework, if I do remember well, is like the DSDGG framework, where you basically, so you have your products, right? And the first D, sort of like discover. So you want to try to get people to see if your business is even viable to people. So this is where you're doing customer research. This is where you're doing competitive research. You're trying to search for like, okay, who in the market is doing the product that I'm doing? How are they selling it? What are they doing well in terms of like, marketing? Like we mentioned, like Regal, like there's a lot of businesses who sell hair, but they're just like, picked out like, okay, what makes them like super unique? Because they've framed like theirs as like a lab made hair, which is like super unique. Like nobody else is talking about like lab made hair in Nigeria. So they'll be able to do that, and they'll be able to also take like what is also working for like other hair businesses, which is like, constant like, UGC influencer, like, marketing process, and they've also like integrated into theirs. But they've also seen that, okay, their product is viable. So that's like, the discovery stage. And then there's also like, the strategy phase. So this is where you now start putting like, your go-to market plan. Like, how do you want to make sure that, people, when you take it to the market, people are able to like, buy your product. So this is where you're thinking about like, pricing. This is where you're thinking about like, how to make your product like really stand out. Like, what is the strategy behind? What is your product messaging? So you're thinking of like I said, Regal is like, a lab-made product. So that is their strategic messaging. And it's something that I remember before I was just like, okay, I want to buy their product. And then, for example, for Smile ID, we are like, Africa's leading like, identity verification provider. So even though there are other identity verification providers, we basically are focused on the African markets. So we have like, access for all 54 like, African markets. We also do global like, markets, but no other customer is as invested as the African market as we are. Or we even have like local competitors, but those competitors can just do like maybe Nigeria and Kenya, or just Nigeria. But we have access. So for any businesses who want to like identify like, their customers, but they have like a branch in Nigeria, they have access in Kenya, we have like, the perfect integration for them to be able to scale through. So like, that strategy. I think the third D is like design, where you're sort of like putting like, what's your brand look is going to be, what's your persona. So like your ideal persona, like who are your customers? So for like this cosmetic brand, who are your people, which I think Gertrude has already talked like very deeply about. So your ICP, where you're thinking about like how much do they even earn monthly, right? Why would they buy your product? What makes people, what do they, there's this international cosmetic brand called Rode. And one of the good things that Rode does is that they integrate like tactile touch. So, their customers are like, chic girls who like, they eat croissants. So because of that, when they are doing like any product launch, they will just like, take images with like, croissants, with like, donuts. And it's just like so interesting. You just want to like, they've infused into the lifestyle of like, that personality of like an it girl. And because of that, like a lot of people just feel like, okay, this is our customer. And they've been able to like put messaging that really targets those people. And then I think the G is like, get sets. So this is where you're thinking about your campaigns. How do you want to make sure that you're doing a set of things? So like webinars, you're thinking of events, you're thinking of giveaways, you're thinking of like influencer partnerships, you're thinking of like different activities to make sure that, okay, on this particular date, we're going to roll out. You know how sometimes like you just be there, before you know, you've seen a particular brand, they're all over your faces. Like maybe the way Temu came to market. Before we know, it just became like a part of like everybody's like discussion because it just came boom. It's very strategic because they had a set like launch dates. They had a different activities that they wanted to do, and they pumped a lot of ads. So you have to think about ads, you have to think about events, you have to think about partnerships. I think another Chinese brand did that recently, Cinemat. Where like before the launch, like they used a bunch of like TikTok influencers, right? So they were talking about it like, oh, we're going to like, open our store on this day. All these TikTok influencers, they're talking about the pricing, which is like pricing you get from like all these Chinese store, but you don't need to like, pay shipping, or you don't need to wait 2 weeks to pay for it. So
I know the brand you're talking about.
Exactly. So when the launch did, I think it was November 1st, and then like it was people were in queue for 8 hours.
I saw that.
To see the demand of like, how you can put together like, a product launch or like a campaign. So yeah, get set. And then I think the last part is like grow. So all of these things is obviously like repeatable. You're not just doing launch, but you're thinking about post-launch. You're thinking about how to make sure that your product is part of people's lifestyle. Because you don't want people to just download your products. You don't want people to just buy your products once. Real Girl, I think I have like 3 of their weeks now. Because like, I have seen interesting like, content from them. They've sent me like, emails. I've seen like, some of my friends who are also like influencers with them. I've seen like, more ads, more information. Even though I've bought from them once, they've just like, tried to like, keep communication with me to make sure that I'm still top of mind to them. So yeah, that is the framework I'll design for like, this particular business. You just follow through that pipeline.
Yeah, so I've listened to 3 of you, and there's things that are very consistent. Post.
Yeah.
So what does it entail? You have launched now, the business is up and doing. What activities do I need to do in terms of partnership? What activities do I need to do to strengthen my partnership or even grow to more partners? Mind you, I'm small.
Grow more customers, right?
Yeah, but we're
You're
looking
talking
at
about
partners
from partnership.
Yeah.
perspective. Mind you, I'm a small business.
Yeah.
So how do I even, what my pitch to somebody to come and partner with me?
Well, most times a person will partner with you based on who you are as a person, the person behind the brand. That's one. They would also partner with you based on the intentionality you put into your product. If they've seen that you created a wonderful product, not just that it's fantastically bound, but you took enough time to think about the little details that make it stand out, you've been intentional about your brand, that already says a lot for you. And with that, you can now come and say, okay, I've created this wonderful brand. This is the traction I've seen with this brand. This is all I've been able to do. I mean, you must have documented all your activities, your sales, your marketing, your content, everything that you've done. And from that, you can now give them a projection of what to expect working with you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that is how a small brand can start or can pitch itself to other brands.
I know you work for a big brand. We'll not call it.
Okay.
You get a lot of people pitch you daily.
Yes, I do.
So how do you know this is good and this is bad? What's one of the things that make you think, I don't think this will work? Hi folks, so we created this channel to help you go in your business life, professional life, and also in your personal life. That's why you see us taking on these topics, having this difficult conversation to make sure you get value from it. So what we want to do now is to help deepen our commitment to you and also our connection to you. So we just launched a new feature called the Masterclass. It's a space where you get to sit down with the experts who bring on the show, you get to interact with them, they get to teach you and also give you tools and strategies you could use in your life and in your business life to take you to the next level. We have 200 slots available for the next edition happening soon, and it's selling fast. All you just have to do is to go to thegreatconversationnetwork.com/masterclass and secure your spot now.
Okay, so for me, I have a set of targets. So partnerships can also bring sales. Partnerships can bring brand equity. Partnerships can bring things that would make your consumers happier. It might not benefit you directly. Partnerships can bring things that will make your staff, your colleagues happier. So when you assess a brand, you answer the question, which of these things can this partnership do for me right now? And what is most important to me right now? So that's what you look at. So I also like to have like a section cut out for CSR objectives. So most times, anything CSR, we almost always say yes. But it now depends on how they have planned out that event. It has to be a well-executed event, and then I can tell based on the questions I'll ask you, what's the event flow? Where is it happening? What's happening on an hourly basis? Where do you want us to come in? What is your plan before, during, and after? Those are the questions I'll ask. Once I see that you have all those questions for me and there's even maybe more value, then yes, that's something that's how I determine what brand to work with for CSR. Then it now also depends on what my goal is during that quarter. Yeah, so we have different goals during the quarter. So if I'm in the mood to just do something fun, just engagement, awareness, yes, then I know that I'm probably looking for maybe a media brand. If I know I'm looking for money, then I know where to go to.
Imagine looking for money and knowing where to go to. Life is good.
I mean, it's not like you get immediately, because corporate conversations take forever.
Yes.
So whereas it's just one person, I mean, Gertrude and I, we could just say, oh, let's go do this thing. And say, okay, fine, let's go. But then when you have other departments in the mix,
makers as well.
Exactly.
you might like it, marketing doesn't like it, finance for some reason doesn't like it, it just internal control might not like it. So you now also have to think about how that particular brand would affect all these other people. So let's say there's a brand that you like, you now find out that, they've had a run-in with a department, or things didn't go well with that department.
Ooh.
So you now have to start thinking about how you're going to convince them, how you're going to, break the ice. Yeah, so there's so many things to consider, but at the end of the day, once you're able to get all those boxes checked, then you know that you have the right partner for you.
Nice. I was even thinking when you mentioned Gertrude, I was like, oh, you guys do a lot of events. They should have a booth where people can come and do dumbbell. The highest dumbbell win cash. That's a good partnership.
Already, I'm in my head. I'm thinking around ways we can partner. But don't worry, we'll talk. After now.
So
I was gonna speak to post sales because you asked. She mentioned a framework. There's also another framework that I live by, and I learned this when I worked at a fintech. It's called the AARRR framework. It is acquisition, activation, then there is retention, referral, and then revenue. So I like to think that the retention and referral actually is the post-sale bit of things. And this can also guide your sales playbook when you're building it, and just give you a sense of how you should walk your prospects into becoming very raving fans of your product,
Yeah.
right? Because you get them, you acquire them, and then activation, and then how are you retaining them? You know, she talked about how even after she has gotten a product, she still gets emails from them. It tells her that, oh, these people have me top of mind, right? And you also keep them top of mind when you see the emails. You might not read all of it, but it's also a way to retain your customers. You're also thinking about maybe they get a discount when they refer someone, or they get some sort of commission when they refer someone. That's also a way to retain customer. And all of this is post sales. When a customer calls to say that, oh, I got this from you guys and it had this issue or it had this glitch. Your customer service people who are speaking to them, how are they handling that conversation? How are they trying to make sure that that customer leaves that whatever the situation is better than they came? All of that is the post-sale activity. And I like to think that everything that happens after a customer exchanges money for your service or product is a lot more important than everything that even happened prior. I like to think it's my personal opinion, because in sales, we've also seen that retaining, I beg pardon, in sales, we've also seen that the amount of money it takes us to acquire new customers is definitely more than what it takes us to retain those that we already have. And guess what? We get more money from already existing customers than even the new customers. So the new customers might be a lot. In my case, my organization right now, there might be, so far in the year, we just did our Q3 review a few days ago. So the new customers who came in this year were more, right? While the already existing customers were not as much, but the money that came from the already existing customers was more than those that came from the new customer. And that's because our post-sale strategy, customer success, taking care of your customers, after that, attending to their needs, getting them to trust you, to become raving fans of your product, referring other people, it's solid. And that in itself can solidify the kind of revenue and the margins that your business gets.
So something that's been consistent so far that you have said is raving fans, raving fans, raving
Yes,
fans.
raving fans.
How?
It is everything that happens in your post-sale process, right? Just being able to get your customers to trust you. I worked in a fintech company, and you know, with Nigerians and money, it's a trust issue. So over time, while I was there, I spent about 3 years there. While I was there, our marketing, our sales, our conversations with our customers was consistently around trust. Whatever concern they had was almost always about trust. So we had to make sure that all those flags that popped up in their heads about trust, we were attending to them. Compliance-wise, getting the right licensing, all of those things, we were doing them, and it helped us to build the trust that the customers have. And then you now see our community of people, because we eventually built a community, and that's something that she can do.
I was just about to say that, community.
So we eventually built a community on Telegram. It was even housed on Telegram. Right now, even when people, let's say something went wrong with the app, or maybe there was a news about the company, you'd see people in the community being the ones to defend whatever that situation is, or preferring a solution as to how we can solve it. That's because we've handled that post-sale stage of the sales process a lot better, and we have customers who have become fans of the product. Fans is just being fanatical about something. Well, they're not going crazy, but they're defending us. Even if they're trying out other brands, they're still here, and they can speak to whatever it is that the product or service is offering confidently.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna touch a bit about, like, retention, and I always tell people that very, very true. I feel like a lot of companies are very focused on getting like new users and not really in the satisfaction of like already existing. And the already existing users are the ones who can actually grow your brand in like unexplainable ways. I always tell people how, a lot of brands, like, you start using them like in a freemium basis, and they want to, like, the work of a product marketer or just like everyone in the company is to get them to be paid users. And the process of the paid users, a lot of people I'm not really sure how to go about it, but it's also like really good retention. For example, a good app that really does this well is the Flow app. So what it does is that it will give you like a month free where you get like a freemium. So you get all like the benefits of like using like a premium platform, and you get like so much information about like period health, about your health as a woman, those type of conversations that you don't see a lot like out there, and it's just super valuable for you, and then it's also super accurate. So obviously when like the freemium is over, you get to like use just like the free features, and you now start seeing how limiting it is. But what they do is they don't just leave you as that. Like every time they're always like sending post notifications about like maybe like there's a particular research they just did, and you're just like, okay, just come read a bit of this. By the time you're reading the piece and you're already getting into it, they just be like, okay, pay for our paid feature to get like more access to this. So when that started happening like repeatedly, I was just like, okay, the value is about like 20k naira per year. I was just like, okay, something that I can invest in. And it just feels like super valuable. So like retention, trying to get people, and also there's also the aspect of like social media. You can get like 100k followers, but not 100k people are buying from you every month. So you want to make sure that all the people who have taken the action to buy from you, to like from you, they can also still be advocates without them even having to pay. But you also want to get them to pay eventually. So what do? You give them like very valuable content. You do like community outreach, where it's just like, oh, we are having like a particular event, come join us, and then make them happy, and then you go get them to like test your products, or like give them like free product. Like there's this skincare product I use, Uncover. They have this like community feature where you can be like a UGC creator. So they'll send you like WhatsApp, and just like, if you want to be like a UGC creator, like just send like a message, and they will just like follow up with it. So it's all of these systems to make sure that people are talking about like your brand, your solutions, like way more organically. And before you know, it takes time consistently, as you keep like, you don't just create content for like 2-3 times and expect people to just like you because your product is good. Competitors will come and smash you out of the market. So you just have to always be on and making sure that your future customers, your new customers, and also like the customers you already have are all like synchronously like happy.
Yeah,
So yeah,
I want to touch on content while we're still with you, in terms of looking at which platform to create that content, since you already spoke about it.
yeah.
Is it all platforms that work for everybody, or you have to narrow your focus down? How does it work?
Okay, yes. Great question. So like in marketing, there is like two big types. There's like B2B marketing, which is business to business, and there's also like B2C marketing. And then there's also depending on the product that you use. So like I always say, there's like I mentioned, the discovery phase where you're looking at what your competitors have been doing and the channels that are pretty much working for them. You also are understanding who your ideal customers are, because the right channel for you are where your customers are.
Absolutely.
Exactly. So that's why even some like American platforms, they are now concentrating a lot on Reddit, because a lot of Americans like use Reddit even better than like Twitter X, and because of that they are doing content marketing there. And for example, my firm, like we work with like business execs, and where you can typically find them is like LinkedIn, and that's where we like use like we put like most of our marketing efforts for like your friend's brand. Obviously it's a cosmetic brand, so there's Instagram, there's also like TikTok, because competitors are there, but there's also people who want to also shop from you. They are also there as well. So you want to make sure that you're meeting them well. You can try billboards as well to see how, just think about like, okay, who are my customers? A part of like product marketing work is like knowing deeply, like in your sleep, you just tell you like, who is your ideal customer profile? You know who they are, you know their age, you know their title, you know, like, where they get information from, you know what events they attend. And you want to make sure that you are placing yourself strategically in all of these places, depending on your budget. Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk community now, because everybody has hampered on community.
Yeah.
So how does one go in building, and how does it go in building a community? Is it needed for every company or just a few?
Good question.
I think community is important, of course, for every business, but it now depends the stage of that business. For community, you have to look at, have you built loyal customers? like Gertrude said, you need to build your real fans. Those your real fans will be your founding fathers for your community. And the way fans do, the way fans are is that they love to drag everybody with them. If they find something they love, they're going to, exactly, they want everybody else to join them because they're so proud of it, especially when you buy something with your money. See how Gift is so happy about how everything going. And I'm not even curious. Maybe I should try it out. That's what she's part of their community, even if she hasn't maybe entered into their space yet, but she's part of that community. So it's the loyalty, it's because I've also heard about Regirl, but they rebranded from something else. So it's also about the right time.
You guys are giving them free ad.
We're giving
them
them
I'm telling you.
I'm
telling you. Because I mean, see how I was just looking at Gift and relating it to community. So that's how you build a community. There's a right time. So you shouldn't just start a brand and try to build a community when you don't even know the true picture of your audience. You might think you're creating something for Gen Zs, but you might find out that it's actually millennials that prefer this thing more. And you now start seeing more millennials in your community or buying from you. Meanwhile, you thought the Gen Zs were your main community. So it depends on where your brand is. Have you figured out who your loyal customers are? Are you giving them the the benefits or the value that they were looking for? That's actually what I was looking for, the value that they're looking for. And are you maintaining that value? Are you delivering day on day on your service? Are you consistent? So yes, it's not every brand that can have a community. It's just when you built when you built your I've forgotten what they call it. There's a matrix for that.
Wow.
Never mind. It'll take forever to remember. But I know that there are cash cows, there you know that one. There are dogs. Yes, BC, thank you. The BCG matrix. That's what I was trying to remember. So that just describes the stage that your business is at. Have you gotten to the peak and are you now irrelevant? So yes, there's that stage. So the stage that a brand should start building a community is at the cash cow phase. Yes. When you've built enough buzz, you've built enough awareness, people are using your products, that's when you should start building your community.
I agree.
But I would like to also think that some businesses that have not even gotten to that level can still leverage community, actually, especially for certain kind of products.
Yes.
Products that are, I would say products that are women inclined.
Yeah.
Tend to tilt towards building communities because women thrive off communities. A lot of women thrive off having community of friends, career communities and all of that. So if you're selling something that it's very female focused, whether it has gotten to like a large scale or not, it's important that you also try to leverage community. And I've seen that work for a number of small businesses. Just choosing the right platform to house that community, and the moment you start to garner some traction with your product or service, you just know that, okay, I should, if my Instagram account is taken from me right now, how else? So people start to even build email, what was it called?
Email marketing.
Email marketing, yes. They start to build a database of their customers that they can share emails to. But they start also think about how else can we interact with our customers beyond just sending newsletters. Then you see communities now on Instagram. Almost everybody, even influencers, they are creating channels on broadcast channels on Instagram, right? Just so that they can interact on a different level. So there is a newsletter. It comes in. It's no matter how informal you try to make your newsletter, there is still this thing about I'm getting an email that seems a bit formal. So people, when they're on Instagram, on their WhatsApp, they feel more relaxed, and so I think people leverage those kind of platforms for.
I think yes, you're right that some brands or some brands can build communities early on. But you want to look at how people even perceive your brand.
True. I agree.
Yes.
I agree.
So you wouldn't want to launch a community when it's not ready yet.
When it's not ready yet.
I mean, just imagine someone with like 5,000 followers going around to come and say they want to start a community. A community of what? But now also depends on how they've been engaging their audience. If you've been doing that right from the start.
Thank you.
Exactly. If you've been doing that right from the start, then it feels natural.
Yes.
Not that you just come out one day out of nowhere without nothing and say, oh,
Yeah.
I want to have a community.
Yeah.
Well, you'll be the only member of your community.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm
that's just
aligned on that.
That's
Because I see people with lesser following like that, and they've created a community.
Yeah.
Yes. I have kids. So there is this lady that sells children clothing and, children apparel. She created a WhatsApp community. I was surprised when I saw that she created a WhatsApp channel, because I'm like, why? But then I started to see how strategic she was with what she shares on there, and discounts, bulk buys, if you're interested in stuff like that. And it just made a lot of sense for the mothers on there to
Thank
take
you for
advantage of.
saying strategic in terms of communication.
Yeah.
It's one thing to have a community, so it's another thing to keep them engaged.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Engaged.
So the
I was gonna
question is,
say that
how do we,
actually,
what
'cause
activities keep them engaged?
I think that sometimes when people are creating communities, like they don't have this systems thinking in mind. And I think that that's what even some people struggle with, even in marketers, like sellers, like entrepreneurs. They don't think in terms of like, how I'm going to start this thing from like, scratch and build it to make sure that it is sustainable. Because community is people, and people have like needs. You want to make sure that people say that, oh, from this community, I get like,
value.
I'm getting real value from it. And as someone who has like done community before, it's like a lot of work, because you're trying to like, engage people in like, different aspects. But yeah, I agree that it can also be like, you can be 500 people, but like, 500 people can be real people. And then even small, like through your WhatsApp, your Instagram stories, you can already start like, getting the attention of people, and just like, sign up if you want to get like more access to this.
Yeah.
And then you keep like, nourishing them, and you keep like, just think about it. What do you want to do with your community in the next 3 months, in the next 6 months, in the next 9 months, in the next
So you need to be
year?
ahead of the
You need
curve.
to be ahead, and you need to just also, because community can be like, I think a lot of times people refrain from community because they're just like hire like maybe one community manager, and then it's just like somebody like in the entry levels of their career, and they don't really know how to like properly like engage with people. But it can be something, if like taken very seriously, can lead to like a lot of like brand equity, loyalty, and just like make the brand, like people just want to, there's some brands when you just think about them, just like, I just want to be part of like whatever cool kids are part of them. It's
Brand
very
affiliation.
yes, exactly, brand affiliation. You just want to be part of like, the community. And then it's because like they are strategically making, like some people also do like, spotlights of like community members. When a particular community member like has like a win, make sure to like, shout it out. So those are some of the things that you should put in place to make sure that you have a goal for where you want to be. You just want people to just buy from you, because people are just like, okay, if I have 500 people in my community, they're going to buy from me eventually, which is super which is super cool. But you also, and that is the goal, right?
Yeah.
Because you want them to buy from you, but also you want to make sure that they're getting as much value from you, because when they do, you even see that it is even the people that are able to get out of that can be like super more than you actually even imagine. I started seeing this thing on Twitter recently. Everyone was talking about Partyverse. And then people were just started talking about it. I was just like, what's this about? Like, apparently it's an app where you can see like parties that are happening all around like Lagos, and everybody just keeps like, talking about it. And because of that, it made me like, get the app, and just people just silently just drop in
Word
like,
of mouth.
information, word of mouth about it. And community is a very, very great place to just do like natural word of mouth. Also, if you have like activities, like let's say you have an event that's coming up, your community is the first people to talk about it, because they're just like, I'm so grateful to you. I recently released an ebook. I wouldn't say I have a community. I just have people who are just like people who message me a lot. And I released the guide, and I was just really tired about like distribution. And then she was just like, oh, she wants to do a giveaway for me. Like she took it so personally, because like, I've worked with her before. She was like an intern under me. So yeah, basically I just like to say that people, when thinking about community, it should be very, very systemized. And I feel like if everybody's thinking about that in terms of like your product marketing, your content marketing, community building like followers, and building a business, you have to think about it systematically.
All right, so we're at the last segment of the show.
Okay.
So this one is just
So soon.
Yeah, I was thinking about
so
that. I was like,
yeah. So
wow.
we are the last segment. So let's just look at it. Let's do strategy. So we'll just go round and we'll just talk about 2 or 3 strategies businesses can adopt going into 2026 in respect to your roles. So for partnership, what strategy, 3 strategies you give them for them to adopt going to
I thought you
2026?
said 2.
2 to 3.
You should know by now that I have an issue with keeping to myself.
Wow.
I'm just kidding.
Okay.
See.
Let me see 3 strategies that businesses could adopt in 2026.
Yeah, building partnership. I
Building
want African
partnerships.
businesses to make more money next year
Hmm.
because that's the only way we take back
Yeah.
the continent and also do well. So,
Okay, so I would say the first thing is to be very clear about what you want the partnership to be about. I've gotten requests to just want to do partnership for what? Like, I'm coming back. These people are literally scrambling. So if you don't do that, it just makes them think that you're not serious and you're not ready. That's one thing. So you have to be very clear about every single step of what you envision that partnership to be like, from marketing, sales. Every single thing has to be very clearly laid out. You also have to let that brand know what you're giving them in return, not that you're just taking and
Official.
not giving as well. That's one thing. I would also advise companies to find out ways to make their decision processes shorter. If you're going to tell your marketing or sales executives, they'll go and find leads and prospects and other organizations for us to work with. Ensure that your process doesn't take too long, because it might just turn a business away from you. Because everybody has what they're doing for every quarter, and I wouldn't want to spend too long doing something that I should have done in the first quarter. So you have to ensure that your own organization's process is that seamless and fast. An SLA should not take 3 weeks to review. It shouldn't take 2 weeks to sign something. You try to be quicker with your processes. So that's second thing. The third thing,
we can leave it at 2 though.
okay,
We can leave it
it's
at
fine.
2.
It's fine. If I remember anything, I'll just say.
Yeah.
Okay, so for me, as a business going into 2026, and I'm not giving you a clue as to what I want to do in 2026 as well. Anyways, what you should focus on is ensuring that you have, from a sales perspective, ensure that you have a full pipeline. And the only way you can have a full pipeline is if you have marketing going on and your sales team consistently keeping leads in your pipeline, generating leads and keeping them in the pipeline. That's the only way you can say, in 2026, I want to make X amount of money, and then you can actually make that amount of money. So if you have a goal and you're saying in 2026, we want to achieve so amount in revenue, you should take from there and break it down to the KPIs of your sales team in a way that they can then generate leads that can allow you to achieve that goal that you have revenue-wise for your business. Another strategy, so the first one I mentioned is lead generation, yeah? So another strategy that I will emphasize on, and I kind of hinted on earlier on, is taking care of your already existing customers. It's a strategy that never gets old and should never get old. Every year, as you move on, you should start to think about, what are those things that I need to do? What are those measures that I need to take to ensure that the clients, the customers I already have, are well taken care of, trust me more, and will want to spend more money with me? It's the end of the year. How are you thinking around gifting your already existing customers? What are some brands do Black Friday? But beyond that, what about the top spenders for this year? How are you gifting them in a way that they feel like, oh, this brand sees me and I would love to do more with them tomorrow. I would even love to refer another organization that does similar, to them. That is how you should be thinking. So first, lead generation, ensure that you have a number that you want to achieve in 2026, and make sure that that trickles down to the KPIs of your team members, not just telling them that you must achieve so amounts to, to achieve, for us to be collectively able to achieve our organization's target, but saying down to your inputs. How many calls are you making in a day? How many leads are you generating in a day? You need to be able to trickle down the company's goal down to their, individual KPIs. Then customer retention. Look at how you're going to take care of your already existing customers to be able to get them to spend more, to refer, and to be raving fans, like we've said 1 million times on this episode today. So that is pretty much it from me. I would love to share one more. It escaped me, but yes, those two are. If you do that,
Awesome. Okay, so I think the first one that I would like to say from the product marketing perspective is be very clear about your competitive advantage. So I would say, like, not calling out like, but usually when I go for like events, I know how, like, Lagos is now a very big fintech space. Like everybody now has like their own little fintech. And then you just basically go to like, the different booths, and then you just be like, okay, your app seems cool, but like I already have this app that does, like, I can get like a USD card.
Mhm.
I can do all of these things that you see you already do. So why should I get your app? And then they can't really say it. And I know they'll get business, but I wouldn't like be a repeat user. So you have to think about, like, what makes your business stand out. And then really, like, I think that would be like, my second advice is to just make sure that it is everywhere in your messaging. You want to stick it into people's head, like how important it is. Like, I'll give an example. So UBI, I use like the UBA app. And I remember before I used to use the chat banking, because I went to an event when they were launching chat banking, and they just like installed it for me. They're like, oh, this is super cool. I can use my WhatsApp to just send money to people. And at one time I was going to an app, and I think that the salespeople were in front. They were trying to get me to use the UBA app. And I was just like, okay, yeah, sure, use the UBA, but the WhatsApp is already convenient. Why should I use the app? And then, like, none of them knew why I should get the app. They're just like, oh, just get the app.
People fired.
Well, this is a long time ago.
Yes.
So like they didn't know the reason why I should get the app. And then when I did my own research, I saw that the app, you could transfer more within like a day. Sometimes, like, the chat banking could not be available, and you could use the app. Those are some of the things that, as a product marketing person, you need to know why your product is different from every other person. Because the thing is that, yes, you probably get customers if you're not really sure about your competitive advantage, but if you're able to like know why you are different, you'll be able to have standout customers who come to you again and again and again, which is what you need. And you need to plaster that everywhere. So that's what I want people to leave with. Think about, like, how your business can be unique. If you have like very like little transaction money, if like maybe you cater to a particular audience, like maybe like an app like Clever, even though it does like USD, it's very, very focused on like freelancers and like, creatives in the freelance community. So because of that, they've really like used that to like create user generated content and be able to like really hammer that into the faces of it. So even if they have larger competitors, they've been able to gain like a loyal customer fan base because they've been able to coin that for themselves. So if there's anyone listening to this, think about your competitive advantage and leverage that as you enter into 2026, and always put it in the mind of every single person.
Amazing. I remember the last one I wanted to share. I beg your pardon. So I have to share it or I won't sleep well at night. Anyways, and this is at the intersection of sales and marketing. And that is as you move into 2026, think about selling not the features that your product has or the features of your service, but actual outcomes. What are you solving? That is what you should sell. And this, like I said, it's at the intersection of sales and marketing, because the marketing team will be fraught with actually making sure that they have the right copy and that speaks to that. But you need to hyperfixate on selling the solution. How will a customer feel after buying this product? That is what you should be selling, not the features and the ingredients of your product or whatever it is.
Yeah. So thank you Thank you for coming. This feels like a master class. I'm tempted to put it up and say 200,000. Yes, well, it's why we do what we do. So, guys, you have heard from the three amazing lady. We have spoken about community partnership, content marketing, and all in one episode. All I just have to tell you is to like, share, subscribe, share to your friends starting a business.
Yes, please.
And let's help grow this so we can bring more expert knowledge like this so we could help reduce the poverty gap in the continent by making sure that in our communities we have entrepreneurs that are trying.
I was going to say clock it.
Thank you and have a great day.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
It's a clock it.